Steve, you Steve to come in from Bennett, what do you want to go?
Why don't you put it out there?
My parents, like all families connected with show business, ardently hoped that I would not go into show business.
No Star Spangled Banner today?
No Star Spangled Banner. Sorry, but
I was quite good in sciences, and I think they hoped in many ways that I would follow that path. And sometimes when I'm standing backstage before a performance, I'm thinking, oh, how am I going to get through this? A line I always say is, if I had listened to my mother, I'd be a geologist today. It's like, help.
Geology's loss is music's gain. Michael Tilson Thomas is one of this country's leading conductors, commanding a repertoire that seems to cover everything.
I am an adventurous romantic. I'm interested in all kinds of things. I'm interested in experimentation. I'm interested in exploration. I'm also interested very much in tradition. And this is just the way I am. For me, there seems to be a perfectly obvious path that leads between all these different things that I do. But Piatigorsky is the one who told me, he said, you will always have this problem, because he said people will always say, but I thought he was a contemporary music player. No, I thought he was a Beethoven player. All he's doing is playing Beethoven over here. Give me your full sound on the upbeat to the third bar, though. Here we go. And dun, what? Good. Tutti at the top. Lovely. Now, bass line. And
Just 15 years ago, when he was barely 25, Michael Tilson Thomas made his unexpected New York debut by taking over in mid-concert from the ailing conductor of the Boston Symphony. He was an instant success, suddenly a celebrity. They called him the Boy Wonder, and were still calling him that when he became director of the Buffalo Philharmonic a few years later. Why Buffalo, when he might have chosen a more prestigious orchestra?
Several times in my life, I've been offered choices which were extremely glamorous choices, but had to ultimately be evaluated in terms of what will become of me if I do this.
That should be rewritten.
What would have become of me, I felt, was that I would have had to rely on pat and glib and predetermined solutions to a great deal of the music which I would have had to learn all too quickly. I knew what that experience was about.
That's up to the second half, so I can agonize about that later.
You look at people who have spent their lives playing music, and many of them, you see, are very tired and very embittered or remote or distant or antagonistic, burned out. We all know those terms. And then there are a few who are like a light. They're transfigured by the music. That is what I want to be.
The style is lighthearted, but the passion is there in all his music making. As when he plays piano for a reception at a Leonard Bernstein tribute. And rehearses with Sarah Vaughan.
Well, as far as deacon, simply have to weaken. Hear those shuffling feet. You can keep your seat. Start with your beat. Come on along, get in it. You'll love the syncopation. The minute they begin it, you'll shout into the nation blow.
And works with the American composer Steve Reich for the world premiere of Reich's The Desert Music.
Good, all right. D's through here, do a lot, do less. Don't worry about that so much. But when we come to the I perform this American music and I perform this contemporary music, and I continue to do it wherever I go because it is a mission for me. It is enormously important. Tutti! Must be kept in front of the eyes and the ears of the public, much as they would just love to sit there and hear nothing but Tchaikovsky and Mozart and Vivaldi played on original instruments, apparently. No, they can hear that, but they must also hear this other music, and they must hear it performed just as passionately as any piece by Mahler, Strauss, or Beethoven, or any of the great masters. Much more the trumpet, mezzo forte at least.
Thomas's roots are the theater and music. George Gershwin was a friend of the family.
Now that real, Grossinger's sound, The first lesson that George Gershwin gave my father about playing the piano was he said, look at the piano and you'll notice that there are white notes and black notes. And just figure out the difference between them, and then you'll be able to make whatever kind of music you want. But there are some days where it's scary because suddenly it's as if the whole keyboard has become gray. And then I know that I have to stop. I have to get away from it for some period of time to be able to get the freshness back. This is so much the way music is. This painting is kind of pre, post, existent, continuously existent, all in one place, in one moment existent. I read an enormous amount. In these last years, I've begun to read poetry a very great deal. So poetry helps me a lot, and all these other art things. I love to go to galleries and museums.
You rather like Siegel, or you were?
I do like his work. But you can tell these aren't audience members because they don't have candy wrappers or charm bracelets or, programs or, things that make noise.
How about watches?
After conducting that long, to be able to actually feel your hand, you really should play first and then conduct. This is not the right sequence. So nice, hi there, guys, Get ready!
Michael Tilson Thomas left the Buffalo Philharmonic some years ago and now serves as guest conductor with practically every major orchestra here and abroad.
Much faster than what you're used to. It's
He is just touching 40 and still something of a wonder.
On the front edge of it, on the
Do you see yourself as more modest now than you were in your early brash 20s?
Sure.
Is there
The difference, I think, was, that when I was in my 20s, I was constantly saying, oh, yes, I really am modest, I really, but now I believe it more. it's more true now.
Well, see you tonight.
See you. God bless. Now I can figure out how to play this piece. Bop, 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 and.